Matthew.
So Brexit has been quite obviously a massive disaster. Is it time to say sorry, Anne?
No. First of all, it hasn't been a massive disaster. The only thing I regret about Brexit is that it was never done properly.
The wrong kind of Brexit.
No, let me finish. You've just had a very good spiel putting one side. Now just let me put the other.
The side that the newspapers don't put. That side, yeah. Go ahead, Anne. I'm all ears, genuinely.
Well, I do hope you are all ears. What I was saying was that we did not do Brexit properly. Not the wrong kind of Brexit. We just didn't do Brexit properly. For example, there were thousands and thousands, and I do mean thousands, of EU regulations which we could have got rid of over the course of the last 4 years. Nobody suggesting you do it in the first 4 minutes.
Could you just tell us which ones were bad? Because a lot of EU regulations are really sensible, so I'm just interested out of the thousands and thousands.
Well, I don't know.
So you don't know which ones are bad? We just throw them all out?
I didn't say that. I'm sorry, Matthew.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not going to continue with this because I didn't say that.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. Sorry.
Yes, good. I'm glad you did. What I was saying to you was that there are thousands of EU regulations. For example, it's taken us 4 years to finally ban live exports. We could have done that in the first 6 months. The fiddling around with visa rules that we see now, other countries which have borders with the EU don't have those problems. What we have is a determination to make it as difficult for us as possible. And instead of whimpering and saying, oh dear, we should give up our sovereignty in order to have a faster visa queue, what we should be doing is taking a much stronger stand and saying, right, you make it as difficult as possible, but we're going ahead. Now, you wouldn't have had the Pacific trade deal, for example, without Brexit. That is well worth having. You wouldn't be able to, although we haven't done it, get rid of thousands of pettifogging, business-restricting regulations.
Sorry to interrupt, Anne, but can I just ask about the politicians who told us things before the referendum which have subsequently become patently untrue? So Michael Gove saying Brexit would be good for the environment. We've just legitimised the use of pesticides that kill bees that the EU has banned. Daniel Hannan promised business would have access to the single market if we voted leave. We didn't. He then pushed on for the hardest possible Brexit. Boris Johnson said our fishermen would be supported. They're £70 million a year worse off. I could go on and on. Should we not have some kind of apology for those lies or mistruths, Anne?
Well, the biggest lies that were told before the referendum were actually told by the Remain campaign, led by the then Prime Minister Lord Cameron. He wasn't a Lord then, of course, who said very specifically, and it was all there, that if we dared to vote yes, never mind leave, if we actually just voted to leave, there was going to be an immediate austerity budget, there was going to be an immediate rise in unemployment, there was going to be an immediate collapse of British business. It's all there on the record. This is what they were telling us. None of that happened.
But unemployment is going up, Anne.
Not even you.
Unemployment is up, Anne. And unemployment is up.
And it was never up when we were in the EU.
It also went down when we were in the EU. 4 million with Margaret Thatcher to 1 million just before we left. I mean, you're just not telling the truth, Anne, are you?
Matthew, right, what you won't do is let me have a word in edgeways.
You've had 4 minutes non-stop, Anne. I'm just asking questions. Have a lovely morning yourself, Anne. And therein, I would suggest, ladies and gentlemen, is the problem with Brexit. Been gaslit by one of the great advocates of Brexit. Every time I try and introduce the issues that trouble me, the lies told by Anne Widdecombe's colleagues, former colleagues, I'm being told that I'm interrupting her, that I'm rude. How are we ever going to move on with such intransigence? I have to ask. 0345 6060 973 is the number for your calls. And there was me thinking I could bring Remain and Leave together to work harmoniously to solve our country's problems.